Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Everybody heard my voice? Okay, good. I am very thankful for you for the great attendance. I'm going to talk about the staging and risk factors and how can we invert this knowledge to a clinical practice. As we know that ROB is categorized by the severity, location, and urgency. And we are not anymore using the extents and the clock hours because we are using the early treatment clinical trials staging. As Dr. Ismail explained it very well in his lecture that why we are using the zones, because the maturation of the blood vessels. This is the zone 1. Okay, this is the zone 1, centered in the optic disc, with a double distance from the optic disc to the macula. It is a circle around it. And zone 2 is the circle from the nasal oroserrata, 360, and zone 3 is the crescent area of the temporal retina. And why they do these zones? According to the maturation of the blood vessels normally. Staging, we start with what we call it zero ROB. There is cut off the blood vessels. See if there is, see here, the blood vessels is growing, but there is no demarcation line, there is nothing here. The blood vessels is stopped growing here. So we cannot see it, it is a stage 1. It is, there is no demarcation, there is nothing. We call it zero ROB. When it reaches to a demarcation line, this is stage 1. The blood vessels is growing and stopped here. There is avascular retina and vascular retina here. When this demarcation line became a ridge with wide and when the elevation, we call it a ridge, but there is no neovascularization here. So this is a stage 2 ROB, as you see it here. Okay, as see it here. When there is a vascular proliferation in the ridge, and it is growing up into the vitreous cavity, we call this one stage 3, and we can see it here very clearly. There is neovascularization in the posterior part of the vascular retina, and there is elevation also of the ridge. This is stage 3. If not treated, these patients, they may have some traction, stage 4, there is some traction. There is stage 4A and stage 4B. Stage 4A, there is a traction, retinal detachment, but the macula is still on. Okay, as you see it here, there is some traction here, but the macula is still on. This is stage 4A. And when the macula, or there is a straightening of the blood vessels, or there is a macular traction, we call it stage 4B, but this is a subtotal retinal detachment. When it progresses and there is no treatment, it ends up with stage 5. Some of them, they categorize it as closed funnel shape or open anterior-posterior funnel shape, stage 5. All of this screening, all of the knowledge is to prevent baby to go to this stage. Because there is a treatment for these babies. If we discover them earlier, if we do the treatment for them earlier. There is another category, we call it pre-plus disease. When there is tortuosity of the blood vessels, dilatation, but it's not engorged as the typical plus disease, and sometimes if it is dilated in 2 or less than 2 arcades, and the other arcade is not dilated, not tortuous, we call it pre-plus disease. And the significance of this, that the baby is, he may progress, and we have to have closer follow-up for these babies. When all the blood vessels tortuous, the venules is dilated, and the arterioles is tortuous. In the fall quadrant, we call it plus disease. There's another category, we call it aggressive posterior ROB, where there is very dilated engorged blood vessels, and there is fibrovascular membrane in the plane of the retina, okay, in zone 1. Okay, if we don't treat these patients within 48 hours, they will progress to stage 5 within days. So this is very important to diagnose it, and very important to have the treatment as early as possible. When we are talking about the risk factors of ROP, because of the time, I will not be able to talk about all of these things, but I will talk about the most important risk factors, which is gestational age, birth weight, and oxygen exposure. This slide is a little bit dizzy, as you see here. This is it summarized all the risk factors and the percentage of the ROP in these patients. As we said here, that days of supplemental oxygen in one of the studies, they find it in almost 66 patients out of 354 with some ROP stage. This is also the sepsis. We find it in patient. Intraventricular hemorrhage also proved to be associated with the severity of ROP. When we talk about gestational age, there is an observational study which they call it support ROP, and they extract data from that study, okay, to know the severity of the ROP with associated with gestational disease. They include 997 in babies less than 28 weeks of gestational age. They found that there is 643 they have ROP, and out of them, almost 20% out of them, they have stage 3 and above for the treatment of ROP. And if we see this slide, it shows us by weeks how many babies are going to have severe ROP. When the gestational age is premature, extreme premature, 24 weeks, most of them die, okay, and almost 56% of these babies below 24 weeks and 24 weeks, they have ROP. The severe one, almost 20% of these babies. So the low gestational age is associated with higher incidence of ROP, and the incidence of severe ROP is significant here. So the gestational age is very important in the ROP. This is another slide from another study. They found that also it is very rare to have babies still alive, below 22 weeks. So this, the only one, they have 23 weeks, and almost 100% they have ROP. The severe one, it is almost 50% of these babies. When they go in the gestational age until 32, then the severity is almost, there is no severe ROP. There is some ROP patient, but it's not in the mild stage. So the gestational age is very important, as low extreme gestational age of these patients, the incidence of ROP is higher. This is another slide explaining the things, the same thing. Supplemental therapeutic oxygen for pre-threshold retinopathy, we call it STOP ROP. This is trial, and maybe Dr. Ahmed is going to talk about this, but they find that supplemental ROP is not significant in development of the ROP. Okay, this is, we know now the risk factors, we know the staging, then we have to reflect this one into a clinical practice. So see, if you see this one, okay, this is the ROP screening page. You have to put all the risk factors here. This is the first one, gestational age. And postnatal age in weeks, we added to the gestational age. It will give us the postmenstrual age in weeks. So it will give you the first eye examination. And the birth weight, as the birth weight is very low, the risk factors increase. Duration of oxygen therapy, if the patient has sepsis or not, if they have blood transfusion, antenatal steroid, intraventricular hemorrhage. When you look to these risk factors, you know that this patient is more to have ROB or not, and you exert more time to examine these babies thoroughly, to examine them, to rule out ROB. If you have gestational age below 28, then you have to spend some time carefully to see the periphery of the retina. Also, the birth weight, if it's less than 800 grams, then you have to exert more time to see these babies. And you can also draw this retina according to the zones. You can draw it like this and draw your finding in the sheets. And you have to plan according to the study. You cannot do a proper ROB examination with proper instrumentation. Okay, you have to have source speculum to keep the eye gently open. You have to have a clean scleral depressor to rotate and depress small eyes. You have to have 28. It's better than 20 to see more than in the periphery, because we know that ROB is in the periphery, so it's better to use 28 diameters. This is the source speculum. If you don't find this one, you can use infant also speculum. It is good. But you cannot do a proper examination without speculum, without exhibit. This is the clean scleral depressor. You see, it is not like the normal depressor. It is like a serrated lens room. This one is going to the sacs and rotate the eye as the direction you like. You can indent with this. You can see the periphery. And as I said, we have to have 28 diameter lens to see more of the periphery. Thank you very much.